Word around town. It's this new thing called alpha schools where they're mainly teaching AI. And I guess a couple billionaires came out and gave public support for these new schools. But supposedly, it's only 2 hours of deep learning, 4 hours of recess, and then I think another 2 hours of on hands activities. And these private schools could range from anywhere to 40,000 to 75,000 a year. Now, that's the price of going to college, but this is K through 12th grade. And, I guess this video will dig a little deeper into it, so let's watch this.
Alpha schools are reimagining education from the ground up by using artificial intelligence to build learning skills and
And I wonder when they say alpha schools, are they getting that from the latest generation? Because, latest generation is Gen Alpha. So I wonder is that the reason that they're using alpha schools?
to help kids tackle real world challenges. Now they have several campuses throughout the country, including new locations in Lake Forest and Santa Barbara, which will launch this fall.
Mackenzie Price is the co-founder of Alpha Schools, and she's here to talk about the departure really from tradition.
And one thing I will say that I liked about seeing that video just then, before we even dig into it, all of those kids looked confident and they looked like they were just in a certain mode that you don't normally see when you see kids at school learning, right? Every now and then you see them happy, but like we were saying, that's normally at recess, right? But in class, they seemed like they were very in tune with whatever was going on. Even seeing a young girl on stage speaking, she looked very confident. So, that looked amazing to see before we even dig into it.
Schooling. We're showing this video, right? And it looks like the kids are having this amazing grand time. It doesn't look like a traditional classroom at all,
Yes.
but
See, she just said the same thing that I was saying. Now, this could be marketing, though. They could have found the best of the best videos and pictures to use, but I am not the only one that see that. So it's amazing.
that's
Cool.
part of what this is, right? You do all of your coursework really in 2 hours with AI kind of helping along the way, and then you get to do a lot of other cool stuff.
There has never been a more exciting time to be a 5-year-old than right now.
Lucky
and
them.
yeah, and I think people have been very nervous about how is artificial intelligence going to come and affect education. And I'm telling you, it's creating such a great experience for both the students and for
How?
our teachers.
Wow.
How is that
Well,
happening?
we're able to provide personalized learning that meets every kid exactly where they're at
Okay.
and goes at the level and pace of that. We can know all about their knowledge. What do they know? What don't they know? What do they need?
Now, that's amazing. If these teachers are actually taking that time to use that data the right way, you knowing where they are, that's amazing. Are you going to, go by, like, is it multiple teachers in the classroom or is it one teacher teaching each child exactly at whatever level they are? Because we've seen this before in some sort. You growing up, at least, like I grew up down south, they would have us taking tests before the school start to see what level we were on when it comes to reading and spelling and these things. But that didn't necessarily mean the teacher was going to take time to give us that one-on-one teaching. It just meant like, okay, you are at this limit and you are at this level, and we're gonna put you in a classroom with a bunch of other kids that's at this level, and put you in a classroom with the same level students, so I can teach them all at the same time. That one-to-many mentality. So I hope they actually stand on that one-to-one mentality, or is it just so you knowing it?
To learn, and we can overlap that with their interests. As a result, kids are learning twice as fast in only 2 hours a day.
When you say meet them where they're at, are you talking about things like if I'm a more
That is an amazing stat. Using AI, kids are learning twice as fast with only 2 hours of the day. So I don't know about for y'all. When I was growing up, I believe school was anywhere between 6 to 8 hours, somewhere in there. Maybe we'll get to school at 7 and leave at 3, somewhere around there. I'm not sure. But you're telling me they're learning twice as much in a third of the time. Psh, the proof is in the pudding, people.
visual learner? Is
Yeah.
it stuff like that?
Well,
Or-
so that is one of the great things about when we create these personalized learning plans. Kids can get visual and auditory support.
Okay.
They can go at a pace that it's right. And if you take like that fifth grade student who maybe needs to go back and revisit third or fourth grade concepts, we can do that. Or that fifth grade
Wow.
student who needs to be going and doing eighth or ninth grade content, they can do that
Wow.
too.
Good
point.
All of that can be done so much more efficiently. And then, of course, it opens the rest of the day for us to focus on life skills. Things like public speaking and storytelling and leadership and teamwork and financial literacy.
This is amazing, right? How often did we hear from other people growing up or after they got out of school, they said they didn't teach us about financial responsibility or financial literacy, right? This is amazing. So the curriculum that I'm hearing right now is bar to none. I don't think if you can beat this, I'd love to see it, right? From what I've heard so far, take it. Just just take it at this point because you telling me they're learning twice as much in a third of the time. They still get to be children and go to recess. And also, you're teaching them about life skills, public speaking. You've been learning public speaking from K to 12th grade. So by the time you graduate high school, or what we used to call high school, you've been experiencing this for 12 years of public speaking. It ain't nothing that you can't raise money for. It ain't nothing that you can't influence people to do at that point. 10 years plus of life skills, teaching them about financial literacy, just take it. Take the whole wallet.
Oh my goodness, I was just
I
gonna
wish we
start-
had that going on.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We need that as a society,
Yeah,
really.
it's
Yeah.
great. And then the key thing that has really enabled all of the success is we've been able to transform the role of the teacher in the classroom to be able to focus on motivational and emotional support and mentorship. So
Wow.
our teachers finally get the chance to really make that impact that they all got into this career to do, connect with students, and let artificial intelligence do the things like lesson planning and not having to grade stuff. And you know what? There's not even a need for homework when you're able to efficiently learn like this. I know,
Man,
music
I
and parents
love
here.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's never been a better
there are
time.
things that only humans can do. The teacher, it's just as important as the schoolwork.
And there
right?
will never be a world where humans are not at the center.
right.
But artificial intelligence is allowing us to raise human intelligence for both students academically, as well as developing life skills and having that time, and allowing those teachers to serve in that mentor role for all of their students.
Mackenzie, I think a lot of people would like to know, how are you ensuring that AI technology is being used responsibly in the classroom?
Well, that's a very important thing. So, for example, in our schools, we don't use a chatbot feature because as much as we wish kids would just have Socratic discussions, they will use it to cheat. And so we don't enable that. We use the personalized aspect of this and then make sure that kids have safety. The other thing that's so important is in this world, we need to teach our young people how to use these tools well. So, for example, in the afternoons, we allow our kids to use AI tools to do things like research their favorite animals and then give a presentation and get feedback from an app that gives them how's their intonation, how's their number of filler words, how can they make their speech more engaging. And so when we can teach kids how to use these tools to give them superpowers, not to cheat, that's where the magic happens. And I think that's what we've seen families really want. They want their kids to be well developed for great life skills and to be prepared academically.
Okay, I just have one very quick question for you. This sounds really expensive. Is it just for high?
And that was one of the biggest questions that I just recently asked my community. I'm like, how do we find the perfect balance between raising these kids in traditional learning and AI? And then I scroll across this. I run across this, what's called alpha schools. And this is amazing, man. This is truly astonishing. And if it's everything that she's saying it to be, I do hope, with everything in me, in all sincerity, that this become more of a public thing and not just private schools. I want this to be accessible right, to all schools across the nation, because this is what we all need, right? Not just elevating a select few, but let's elevate everybody because once you elevate everybody, it's only up from there to continue, right? Um, so this is
Higher
extremely
income families?
We are a private school right now, and we are working to get into the public world. It's a tough one, I have to say. So we develop financial aid programs for our students, and we started in Texas 11 years ago, and we've been growing throughout the country. What I'm seeing is that families are demanding change. They want to see something better.
so. With that being said, now I got to dig deeper into it. She said they've been doing this for 11 years now. So that means either this year or next year, they should have their first graduating class, right? That should be that first class to graduate from an alpha school. So I'm really interested to see what these kids look like, right? Or what these young adults look like upon graduating and where they plan on going and how they plan on utilizing these skills that they've been building for the last 11 to 12 years. That's amazing. And also, she said they've been coming up with a way for financial aid. I mean, as high as it is, because it sounds like college. You should have a way for financial aid, but I'm ecstatic to even hear it. Right, I'm happy to hear that because, like I said, I just want it to be accessible to all people, whether that's it being in public school or you have after a while, after they figure it out and make it to where it's that accessible. They still making it accessible to middle class and lower class people using financial aid, right? So they found a way for you to pay for it and pay back the thing. And then you got to think about it. Would 12 years of this type of learning, right? If you learn it twice as much, right? If you learn twice as much, it's basically going to high school twice and in half of the time. It's basically like going to high school 4 times by the time you graduate. Is it going to be necessary to send them off to college, or would they have all the life skills that they need? Especially if you raising entrepreneurs, would they have all the life skills they need and all the knowledge that they need to go off into just straight starting to an entry level career, right? And just start you doing experience from there. So would you need to pay for college after this? Who knows?
And the good news is the future of education, it's here now.
Love
Okay.
that. Yeah, hope to see it become more accessible to all families,
Yeah,
Mackenzie.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the beautiful part about artificial intelligence. It is scalable, and we can make this more accessible. And it's something that I think with the shift in resources, the public world can start taking advantage of these things.
Okay.
Great to hear.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It's a
Yeah.
fascinating. I could spend the next 2 hours
Seriously.
talking to you
Yeah.
about this, but we got to
Well,
go.
that's all it takes to learn in a day, 2
There you
hours.
go.
This was extremely amazing, man.
What if
This
you could
is
taste the
just
movie?
This is extremely amazing. Everything I've seen in this short excerpt, it has me like, once again, take my wallet, right? I can't wait to see how this grows. And right now, even though it's not accessible to all, I feel like it's still worth going out the way to make sure you have your children and other kids in this. And like, just give them that extreme head start, right? Is the math that's mathing right now, they're learning twice as much in a third of the time. And they're about to be doing that for 12 years, right? Somebody do the math and let me know how much they actually gonna learn, how much more they gonna actually learn than the traditional schooling. But drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. Let me know if y'all think it's good, if y'all think it's bad. Let me know which way y'all think that schooling is heading. And I just really want to see what that first graduating class looks like, how they speak, how they interact with each other, how they interact with other young adults, what careers they plan on going to. I want to hear their response of how they felt within that 12 years. Are they going to be robotic, right? Are they going to be antisocial because they was on the computer a lot? Uh, it's just super interesting to see. But this was a great, great, great video to watch.